Hey family, welcome to another episode of W.H.O.L.E. So glad to have you with me. Today must be Thursday because a new video is here. Glad you are here. To my new viewers, thank you for joining us on today. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to hit that little notification bell so every time I drop a new video, you will be notified. To my holy rollers, how are you? Glad to have you here on today. You're chilling with your girl. We're having a little conversation. Just glad that you guys are hanging in there with me, okay? And as always, be sure to like, be sure to share, and be sure to put comments down in that comment section. I've mentioned before, there's a pre-sale order for the book that's coming out soon, as well as some apparel. I'll have to come and show you. I've worn it, so I'll just show you what is for sale. But I have that information down in the description, so be sure to look there if you're interested in purchasing a book, purchasing some apparel, as well as needing some coaching coaching support, okay? And you can reach out to me at O2BeWhole@gmail.com. All right, well, let's jump right on in on today's topic. Today's topic is dealing with grief or loss, okay? It doesn't have to last forever. Dealing with grief or loss, and when I say it doesn't have to last forever, the pain of the grief, the pain of the loss does not have to, the feeling of that pain does not have to last forever. And I'm doing this video because someone mentioned to me, talking about grief and how to support a person during, when they're going through grief and loss. And I just want to address it. We are coming up to the holiday season, and those are times where people tend to go into a state of depression or a state of sadness, and not only due to the holidays, but it gets dark early. Okay, it gets dark early, and the more darkness and the less sunlight there is, people tend to go into levels of sadness and depression, and it's cold on top of that. It normally gets cold, and those type of elements can cause a person to carry a little more sadness, especially if they are going through a time of grief and a time of loss. So I'm addressing it on the front of going into the holidays, how to deal with grief and loss. Dealing with grief and loss if there has been a recent loss in your life, and knowing that even though it may be a fresh cut, it may be a fresh injury to you, that you won't always feel like this. And I feel like I am able to truly state this with some assurity, because unfortunately, I and my family, we are very acquainted with death and loss. And many of you who may be watching, you may have lost several loved ones, close loved ones, whether it's a parent, a sibling, a child, a best friend, someone that you love. And those losses, they hurt very deeply. They hurt very deeply. And not only just the loss, in terms of death, but a loss of a relationship, people getting divorced, people breaking up out of a relationship, moving on from a relationship. It could even be loss of a job. Those things dramatically change and impact people's lives, which cause them to go through a process of grief. And there are stages of grief. There is denial, there is anger, there's bargaining, there is depression, and then there gets to a point of anxiety. Some people say it's 5 stages. Some people says there's 7 stages. I don't know, but there are stages to grief. But the one thing that is agreed upon in all of those stages, there comes a time when you have to accept the loss, Okay, that may not happen overnight, and in most instances, it is not an overnight thing. It takes time, and that's why they say you go through those stages that I just mentioned. You know, you may feel numb, you may have some anxiety, you may be angry. You know, you may be experiencing an array of emotions, and it's okay. That's completely normal. That is healthy. But at the end of the day, we have to get to the end result of acceptance and allowing ourselves to heal and to become whole. Okay? Even in your healing, you want to be made whole, just as Jesus did when the one leper came back to thank Jesus for healing him. That was the only leper that the Bible says not only was he healed, but he was made whole. And we want people to be made whole. The title of my book, the title of this YouTube channel, Oh, to be whole. We want to be not only healed, and don't get me wrong, being in a place of healing is absolutely a great place, but there is a higher place to be, and that is in the place of wholeness. But I do want to address, and I don't want to negate or ignore the process or the feelings of grief when you go through a loss. Okay? Identify what your loss is. I don't know what your loss is. I know for me, the most hurtful losses for me have been those who have passed away, family members who have passed away. And those were devastating. But I come to tell you today, you don't have to stay there. You don't have to stay there. There is a process. And it's not my job to tell you how to go through that process. But it is my job to tell you that you can't stay there. You have to get to the other side of your grief. You know, so many people have gone into depressions and never come out. So many people have done things, you know, been homicidal or even suicidal because they were not able to deal with the loss. They were not able to deal with the grief that they were going to, not recognizing that what you're feeling today, it will get better. It will, you won't feel that forever. Will you miss the person? Will you miss the situation? Absolutely. They are never blocked from your memory. You know, even in a divorce, you can love again. You can love again. All right. Even with a job, there is another job that will give you the financial sustenance that you need to make it through, you know, your day-to-day needs. And I just want to make sure that as you're dealing with your grief, that you don't allow yourself to stay in a place where you're not able to continue life in a normal way. And when I say normal, meaning that you're just so bombarded with your grief, you're lost in that grief that you're not able to function properly in your life. You know, for some people, they're not bathing, they don't answer the phone, you know, they don't talk to anybody. And that is an opportunity for the enemy. Grief is one of those places. Loss is one of those places where the enemy uses it. That is a tool that he will use for you to turn inward versus reaching out to those who may be able to help you and support you. And some of you, you may just need a friend or someone to talk to. For others, you may need some level of medication and need to talk to a licensed therapist to get through this time in your life. But understand, this is a isolated time in your life. Take it from somebody who knows. I promise you, I've experienced a lot of pain. I've experienced a lot of grief in my life, but thanks be to God, and I only give him the praise, but thanks be to God that he saw me through each and every time. 100% of the time, he saw me through the other side of my grief. He saw me through to the other side of my loss. And I want to just help you understand that you have to get to the other side of your grief. And those of you who are You may not be going through grief, but there may be someone that you know is going through grief. One of the best things that you can do is just be there. Be present. Be aware. Listen. Don't ask so many questions, or don't be so quick to try to encourage. Listen first. Listen to what they're saying. And then if it gets to a place where that you feel like what they're saying, you cannot help them any longer, you may need to refer them out to a clinician, someone who can give them some type of medication, or give them what they need, or be able to ask the proper questions to help lift them out of this grief. Because it's, we may not necessarily have the tools that are needed to get someone who is falling into a deep depression, or is dealing with something just heart-wrenching. We may not have the tools to do that. So you may need to get out of the way and make a referral. To someone for that person. But at the end of the day, that person has to make a decision that this is something that they want to do. We can't play God in people's lives and try to force them to do something that they may not be ready to do. But you have to give them the resources. You have to be the support that they need in that time until you're unable to help. And your presence is all that's needed. But a referral to, like I said, a clinician may be needed in order to truly get them out of where they need to be. So again, we're moving into a time, life is, people are dying very, very quickly and tragically. I mean, there have been some tragic deaths to happen, just over this past year, where people are here today and gone today. And so, families who are left behind, friends who are left behind, colleagues who are left behind, have to deal with not having that person in their life anymore. Again, whether it's due to death, or whether it's due to a divorce, or whether it's due to a separation from a job, whatever it may be, we all have to walk down this road of grief and loss. And it is my hope and prayer that you will do what needs to be done when you feel that you are at a place where it's too much for you, that you can get the help that you need, as well as those of you who are supporting somebody who may be dealing with grief, and they seem not to be coming back this way. Help them. Get them help. Get them help so that they can come back this way. And I just want you to know that there will be resources. I don't want to ever leave this channel without giving you resources of places where you can call to get the help that you need. That resource, the link to the resource, will be down in the description. And all you have to do is click that link to get the help that you need. If you are in a place of depression, or somebody who's in a place of depression and they are in a place of grief, okay? You never know what's on a person's mind, so never underestimate that. So get people the resources that they need. You get the resources that you may need as we approach this holiday season, because the holidays isn't happy for everybody, okay? It's not merry and bright for everybody, all right? So just keep that in mind as we approach these holidays, and be an encouragement where you can if you're supporting somebody. But if it's you that's standing in need of support with your grief, be sure to look down in that description to click the link so you can get the help that you need, okay? All right, well, I know today's topic was a little bit heavy, but I want to make sure I'm giving you information to help you through the process. And again, I want to thank you always for watching. Thank you for being a part of the W.H.O.L.E family. Remember to subscribe, like, share, and hit that notification bell. And don't forget to comment down in the comment section, okay? Thank you so much for joining me. And until next time, God bless.